Hey, welcome to Dow Stock Talk, where I talk about topics relating to investing and finance, but more specifically, the stock market. Now, in this video, we'll be comparing Google versus Facebook. Which one's the better buy? And I just want to state before this video, I am not a financial advisor, so this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. And before we get started, you know it, make sure you smash the like button because it helps the YouTube algorithm, it helps YouTube know this is quality content, and help my videos reach a broader audience. In this type of videos, when I compare two companies, this is going to be part of a new series. I'll probably name it the Versus playlist, and make sure you let me know in the comments below whether you want me to do more videos like this. I'll have a face-off where we have two companies, and at the end I'll choose based off of the following criteria which one I think is the better buy at the current price. And by the way, I just wanted to let you know I provided timestamps in the descriptions below so you can skip around if you would like to. So here's the structure of this video. First, I'll be going over the business model. Then I'll be going over the major components. Third, I'll be going over the revenue. And last but not least, I'll be doing an in-depth analysis where I'll be going over future growth, past performance, financial health, and also other financial metrics. So make sure you stick around so you can see all that and you can see which one is the better buy. As we know, we have Facebook, which is a social media company, as we all know. And then we have Google, which is a multinational tech firm, which primarily focus on internet-related services, which can include search engine, online advertisement, cloud computing, and you name it. You already know that. So now let's look at the components, the major components of Google. So Google Search, YouTube, shout out to all my YouTubers out there, Google Cloud, Android, Waymo, and you have other software and hardware components. For Facebook, on the other hand, you have IG, which is Instagram, WhatsApp, Messenger or Facebook Messenger. We have Libra, which is a cryptocurrency they're trying to come up with. Facebook Marketplace, do not sleep on that. And we have Oculus VR. All right, so let's go over the main part. How do they end up making their money? So for Facebook and Google, and by the way, when I say Google, the actual name is Alphabet. Google's fall underneath Alphabet. So just when I say Google, you know Alphabet is the actual official name. So how do these companies make money? They make money through ads. So it's more people that use their platform, and the longer time they actually use it for, the more companies are willing to pay for ads to get their service or goods in front of that audience. And by the way, Facebook has 2.7 billion active users per month, and Google has 2.1 billion monthly logins per month. As of this video, Facebook current share is $277.11, and Google share price is $1,590.45. So for 2019, we have Facebook that produced $71 billion in revenue, $18.5 billion in net profit or net income. So 98.5% of that came from Facebook, and 1.5% of that came from payment and services. For Google, we have $162 billion, and for income we have $34.3 billion. Now 70% of their advertisement came from YouTube, Gmail, Google Play, Google Maps. 13.3% came from Google Ads, Google Cloud 5.5%, and others 10.5%. Let's look at the revenue for the past 3 or 4 years. I'm gonna just read these numbers off pretty quickly. Just know that these are as in billions. So if we look at 2017, we have 40 billion. 2018, we have 50 billion. 2019, we have 70 billion. In 2020, for quarter 1 and 2, we have 36 billion. Now, if we look at Google, on the other hand, for 2017, we have 110 billion. For 2018, we have 136 billion. For 2019, we have $161 billion. And for 2020, we have, for quarter 1 and 2, we have $79 billion. So as we know, in that category, Google wins as far as revenue. Their revenue is twice as much as Facebook. It's also good to mention that Google has a much higher market cap. Facebook market cap is roughly $798 billion, whereas Google's is $1.1 trillion. Now that that's squared away, let's check out Simple Wall Street for the in-depth analysis. Okay, so we got head-to-head, Facebook on the left, and then on the right we have Alphabet, aka Google. So for stock price as of October 27, Facebook as of October 27, Facebook is $277.11, where Google is $1,584.29. So far as the market performance, as you can see, I don't really pay attention to the 7-day too much, but the 7-day 3.6, Google's 2.1, but the 1 year return is 46.4% to the 1 year of Google, which is 25.7%. So as far as 1 year return, we would have to give it to Facebook. For past performance in the last 5 years, you have Facebook with 29.6%, where you have Google with 18%. So Facebook ended up winning there. Okay, as far as identifying whether the stock is undervalued or overvalued, Facebook is on the left once again, Google is on the right. So if we're looking at fair value, we have Facebook on the left, which is it says 3.6 undervalued. So that means based off the discounted cash flow relative to that past performance, they believe Facebook is undervalued. Now Google to the right is 2.5. They consider it overvalued, this is based off a simple Wall Street analyst. So if you're a value investor, undervalued stocks would give you the better bargain. So in that case, we would have to get the winner to Facebook. So next we have the P/E ratio. If you're not really familiar with the P/E ratio, just check my suggested videos, but I will let you know the lower the better. If you see Facebook is 33.6 versus Google, which is 34.5, so very close, but we have to give the slight advantage to Facebook. Next, if you're looking to price to earnings growth, I'm just giving you an indication. The lower the number, the better. So for Facebook, we have 1.8. Google, we have 2.2. So we have to give Facebook advantage. And then, if you're not really familiar with these metrics, make sure you just check the suggested video. I pretty much go over all of them. So when we got price to book, just letting you know, the lower one is the better one. Facebook is 7.2. Google's 5.2. So we have to give Google for the best price to book ratio. Now for future growth, based off of the next 1 to 3 years, based off of 45 analysts for Facebook, 36 analysts for Google, Facebook has a slight advantage, 18.9 compared to Google's 15.6. So we have Facebook winning right there. For return on equity, we have 21.3% versus Google 15.2%. So Facebook wins there. Return on assets, we also have 16.2% for Facebook versus 10.5% for Google. So we have to end up giving them a win there. For Facebook and Google, that financial health, both of them has excellent balance sheets. The assets cover the short-term and long-term liability. However, if I have to pick one, because Google has twice as much assets and twice as much cash, I will have to give Google the win on that particular side. So as you can see, for the cash equivalents, Google has 121 billion compared to Facebook's 58 billion. As far as equity, $110 billion compared to Google's, which is $207 billion. So because Google's the bigger company, they're going to have more equity and cash, so we end up having to give it to Google on that one. Okay, so for experience management, in this case, I just called it a tie. Both has really good management. So for this particular one, I'm calling it a tie. And for experience boards, I'm going to have to give that one to Google. And actually this was pretty close, but if I had to go with one, I would have to say the better buy at this current situation is Facebook. And that concludes this video. Make sure you let me know in the comments below which one you think is better, Facebook or Google. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button. And if you're new, make sure you subscribe to my channel.